Okay. My lord, I even had to change. And I was not expecting a outfit change during this. So, but okay, now I can hear it. Now we're back to like old E-Predators daily days where I can actually hear myself again. And I feel like I am back to the beginning. It's working. Thank God. It is really hot in here. I'm like, woo. Okay. Hi, everyone. Oh, it's nice. Now I can see. Oh, I can see everyone. I'm sorry that I made it members only, because harassment and bullying is really hard to deal with. I'm human. It's hard. And I've been trying to, set boundaries on that and deal with that whole thing appropriately. But it's really nice to see everyone. And I see Dominic and I see Lilo the Stitch, and oh my God, it's giving me like whoa. What a day. What a day. And I'm watching my husband splash water on dog pee currently outside. But it's so nice to see everyone. And I really appreciate anyone really listening to this and to the truth and my truth, my feelings. I really miss the community of E-Predators, even though I saw it get, I'm not going to lie, toxic and intense and a lot and a bunch of different things. I am glad that now we're here and we can have a reunion, so to speak. And Melanie's back in the studio and woo, okay. Oh my God. All right. Are you guys ready for the rest of this complaint? Because we're about to get, right as it ended, we were about to get into the actual, the defamation when it comes to Kat Tenbarge. And I know a lot of people were thinking like, wait, is it the 18 questions? Is it this? Is it that? It actually happened within the E-Predators daily live chat, which is wild to think about. But it happened within the live chat. And it also happened on X, Twitter, whatever. But yeah, so you're going to learn a lot about the behind the scenes of everything that has taken place. And I do want to say to anybody out there that has experienced bullying or harassment or being told that they are playing the victim or that their feelings don't matter or they're too sensitive, any of those things. You absolutely matter. You really do. And not only do you matter, you can change the world with what matters to you. And what the best way of going about that is always having an allegiance to the truth. And as long as the truth is always upholded within what's happening to you, You will succeed. Might take a minute. You know, look, there's like 60 people watching right now, right? But I watched 60 turn into 6,000, you know? And then I saw like 5 protesters show up with me to 30. And yes, it takes time, but things do come around. And it's a beautiful thing to witness, coming out and through the other side of something that feels impossible or something that feels like it's never going to happen. You know, when it happens, it's something beautiful. And it's really nice, even in the meantime, to watch other people have that moment. And something I also experienced during ePredators, now that I'm just change of outfit, I guess. But something else I noticed when it came to ePredators was a lot of, and naturally this is human, a lot of like insecurities and a lot of like competition. And it's happening for her, but it's not happening for me. And, you know, this is getting more attention than my thing that's, you know, getting attention. And I saw a lot of that. And it's understandable. It's hard sometimes to watch someone else's truth or feelings get more support than your own. It's a horror. I've been there. I'm there, you know, in a lot of ways. And the one thing that I want to just share is that if it could happen for someone else, it's going to happen for you. It might look differently. It might look different. It might be different. But it's going to happen for you. And either way, someone else's win of shedding a light for us all is a win for all of us. And that's a true progressive stance. Okay. But it is. It really is. And it's okay to feel hurt by that, though. And to feel like, why is, you know, I'm saying Hillary Duff, even though Hillary Duff has nothing to do with this, but like, you know, just some like celebrity, right? And you're like, this person's getting attention for something that happened to them when they were younger, but no one cares about what happened to me. And it's so real and like justifiable and understandable. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to celebrities, right? But there's a couple ways of looking at that, you know, where unfortunately, sometimes it takes some kind of public figure to bring attention to something. Because unfortunately, these corporations and these trends and these algorithms, et cetera, you know, only go towards these individuals. They only gravitate towards these people. And we don't have to like them. We don't have to like how that works. But we can at least understand, I hope, that maybe the person who is getting attention for their own personal suffering isn't wanting yours to not be recognized or wanting yours not to be supported. It's not their intention. I'm not saying always. Maybe sometimes it is someone's weird attention. That's fucked. But not always. And either way, you know, we should collectively take that as a chance to keep moving things forward and use that as momentum for what we're wanting to see in the world and the change we're wanting to see. You know, and it's maybe a troll would say, use them, right? To move something forward. And it was just really sad to kind of watch a little bit of that over the last couple of years with ePredators, where I saw that. And I understand that. And something else to like really that I want to take notice of is I know that most people do not have a public figure abuser. I know. And most people are going up against a system that does not care about them. And they feel alone and scared and sad, and that no one cares about what happened to them. And my prayer is that people with a public figure abuser could make it eventually easier, or create more legislation, or more trauma-informed work, police force, for example, around these issues. It's a dream, it hasn't happened yet, but I just want you to know my intentions with this is I do know. And I always just hoped that the more that survivors united of all kinds, that it would create significant change for everyone. And that's still my intention. It really is. And it's not like it's not like I don't acknowledge my own privileges. I do. And I want to use them for good. And I just wanted to use my platform for something that truly mattered to me. And I wanted to see change not only for everybody, but also my kids, my friends, everyone. But don't think for a second that I ever did not acknowledge what comes along with being a child star and what's paved my way. I do. I absolutely do. And all I've ever wanted to do with it was something good. Despite the online narrative, but it's true. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into Kat Tenbarge's defamatory statements and what she did. Okay. All right. Alexa explains why she took down the Bell video, and Tenbarge responds with the 18 questions. Okay, I think that's where we ended off. On April 15th, 2024, Alexa streamed live on YouTube. In the stream, Alexa explained 1, why she took down the Bell video, 2, why she blocked the Exposing Rich account on X, and 3, the hypocrisy of the Tenbarge article citing Exposing Rich when the account engaged in the same harassment that was condemned in the Tenbarge article. On April 16th, 2024, Melanie, do you mind closing the door? Thank you so much. Tenbarge sent an email to Alexa concerning a forthcoming article Tenbarge and NBC intended to publish about Alexa and e-predators, which is called the Unpublished Article. In the email, Tenbarge provided a list of 18 questions. A true and correct copy of Tenbarge's April 16th, 2024 email to Alexa is attached here too as Exhibit F. The 18 questions indicated that Tenbarge was going to paint Alexa as a fraud and a hypocrite who targeted Bell's victim. It was also readily apparent from the 18 questions that Tenbarge was aware of the restraining order and Haley McMurray's request for a TRO, as many of the 18 questions were related to the documents submitted by Haley McMurray in support of his request for a TRO. The chart below. Now, here's what everyone's like. So many people, you know, the muckers, whatever you want to call them, were like, why would she think the questions are connected to her stalker and whatever? I'm going to break it down for you all so you actually understand how they literally are. Her questions literally, when you look at this, are connected in a scary way and profound way. So we're going to go through Tenbarge's questions and then go to my stalker's filings for the request for the TRO. And you'll know right away. It's very simple. We made it very simple and you'll get it right away. But this is what's so disturbing for me personally, in my opinion, about Kat Tenbarge is to use her basis for this like hit piece, so to speak. And in my opinion, was based off of her grievances about me not yet talking about Drake Bell, and, you know, it goes on and on and on and whatever. But to base it off of a restrained person, an abuser, somebody who is dangerous, the court has also approved that this person is dangerous and restrained this person. To use this person's own words as something to embolden is extremely worrisome. It really, truly is. So here we go. Okay. So the chart below demonstrates which of the 18 questions were based on the documents filed in connection with, I won't say his name, request for a TRO. All material are direct quotes and preserve all spelling and grammar. Okay. So here we go. So question 18 from Tenbarge in the email to me. How does Alexa respond to the claim that she obtained a restraining order against a former ePredators member on false or incomplete pretenses? What? Based on claims within the April 10th filing and information from 4 sources, which we're going to get into those sources in the complaint. Source of question from my stalker. Page 5, response to prompt 11. She, i.e. Alexa, obtained a restraining order against me using similar false claims she made to this court on April 12th. Therefore, I cannot and have not contacted her. Got it? Okay, good. Question 5. Based on information from 3 sources with direct knowledge and claims made in legal documentation. Cat. Is it correct that attorneys, including former California Senator Joe Dunn, so by the way, on the thumbnail is Joe Dunn in the center of all of these people, including myself. And it was kind of foreshadowing of the next coming episodes that we're going to go into. And I really want to kind of preface this with what's about to happen. We are going to go into the origin stories of ePredators. And we are going to go into former and now disgraced, he is, Senator Joe Dunn. And his own influence in my own life. He didn't create ePredators. He's not the mastermind behind ePredators. But he was and did have a influence on me because he was my lawyer at the time. And I believed that his intentions were the same as mine. I found out a lot of things along the way. I found out a lot about how legislation can be used to bring more money to certain law firms, and how people that are passing legislation can then gain equity in certain law firms. And I also learned, and this is a very hard truth to really kind of say out loud, and it's been something that has been sitting with me, and I just think I'm ready to say this. Not everybody tells the truth. And that's okay, in the sense of that doesn't demean yours, and shouldn't. Doesn't mean, for example, survivors are liars, survivors don't deserve justice, legislation, etc. Doesn't mean that. And though at the same time, from what I've learned, which I will also be going over in the next upcoming weeks, but what I've witnessed within my own survivor movement, movements at large, is there is a little bit overcorrecting that has happened in this community when it comes to a couple things. A, we don't want to also protect bad behavior, right? Just because we don't want it to make the movement look shitty. Number one, we have to have integrity. A movement cannot survive without integrity. And it's okay to admit that sometimes things falter, or things are out of our control, or things are not true from other people. It's okay. Because we don't want to be like the people we're going up against that protect that kind of behavior, that protect falsehoods, because they want to gain something from it. And for us, it would be, let's say, to gain momentum for survivors. We don't want that to end. So we might overcorrect and overprotect what we know about maybe a former ally or an ally in general. We might do that because our intention would be, we don't want this information to, the complexity of this information, to harm or to distort the integrity of the movement. And that makes sense. But for me personally, I'm at this point in my life, and what I've learned and what I've seen, I actually am a little bit more now fearful of what that can do to a movement, where that could actually harm the movement. People that lie. And it happens. And I'm not saying a blasphemy or whatever you call it. It happens. And it sucks. And you wish it wasn't true. And you don't want it to be real. But that doesn't mean you don't always, when you hear someone come forward, not support them. That doesn't mean when somebody comes forward about something that happened to them, you don't believe them. That doesn't mean when somebody comes forward, you don't want all the power to them and want to see it through. That doesn't mean that you harass somebody who comes forward about something that happened to them. No. Doesn't. You always create space for somebody to come forward about what happened to them. Always. That's how you create change. You said an example. And then, of course, you allow things to come forward, come through, you learn more information, you make your own personal opinion about something maybe, and you learn. But something that I learned recently is I don't think any form of how do I say this properly? Just harassment is never okay. Especially for us outside of it, of whatever it is that we're wanting to put ourselves into or involve ourselves in, always support the person coming forward. Always. And want peace for them. And want justice for them. And want the most immense love for them. And be inspired by them. Right? And though maybe also allow them to do their thing. And what I mean by that is maybe we don't have to find catharsis in dominating the person that we believe or who might have really harmed this person. Maybe our focus is better on just supporting the person coming forward and creating safer spaces for that. And maybe also not igniting these other assholes, for example, that want to go up against survivors at all costs and create, sadly, more harassment for the survivor. You know what I mean? Like the more that we maybe start the conversation of this battlefield, we ignite, these 4chan dudes and these misogynists and you name it. And it could sometimes actually hurt the survivor more, how we're involving ourselves in these spaces. And it's something that I learned where it's like, okay, maybe I would rather focus my attention on legislation and really focus on protesting. I really think protesting, and I'm not perfect though. Some nights I get really angry and, I'm like, I just want to end this behavior that's happening to survivors. And you just want to yell, again, it's not a blame. It's just something that I have learned that it's probably better for us just to support the pathway and build better pathways for survivors to come forward safely, etc., than focus on the catharsis that comes in putting down the person that has potentially harmed that person. And I know that sounds weird, but I hope it makes sense. It's just, and I'm going to go into it more and more over the next couple of weeks, but why this is important to me is because it does recycle abuse. And whether we like it or not, we can still participate in punishment. And especially for progressives, it's very interesting because I consider myself a progressive. I do. Mostly progressive beliefs and thoughts. But something I've really realized as of recent is, yes, the system lives within us too. And what is justice to us? And how have we learned what justice is? And maybe admitting to ourselves sometimes we want somebody to feel the same pain or heartbreak that they caused us. That's okay. That's human. It's okay to feel that. That's okay. And hopefully we start to realize though that maybe punishment is not necessarily the way to create change. Consequences are accountability, but punishment, where you want to say that thing that hurts them, maybe that's not exactly what pulls through change. And I had to I'm still learning it. I'm speaking, but I'm still figuring out how to really go about those feelings. But I do think it's important for the survivor community and movement to be aware of that, of how we participate in this change and how we are going to pull this all forward. Because what I really hope is that we always want somebody to get better. and that no one is disposable. And that's hard because you have to look at yourself and really believe you're not disposable. And that's, I think, even harder than looking at another person and thinking that. I think it's actually easier to look at someone else and tell them you're not disposable, you matter, than to look at yourself in the mirror and say that and really believe it. And I think the more we can practice that we're not disposable by ourselves, and it's okay to make mistakes, as my daughter says, and not saying that abuse, for example, is just a mistake. It's not what I'm equating it to, but it's just this recognition that we can take on accountability. We can admit when we're wrong and when we did something harmful to somebody and build a better world off of that. And shame shouldn't be the game of getting rid of predatory behavior, for example. That was a rant, but we'll go back to I know someone said this looks kind of bad. It's not. It's not bad. It's what I'm saying, and to make it very clear, is consequences and accountability really matters and has to happen. There can't be any change without consequences at all. But what I'm saying is it really does start with us. It really starts with how we treat ourselves. And then outwards, we can learn how to treat other people. But if we are sitting with our own shame of all the things that have happened to us and how people have treated us and believing that and letting that fester within us, it's going to end up recycling and harming other people. Just a truth. And it's hard. It's not a fun one. It's like taboo or like whatever you call it. It's edgy. It's spicy. You don't want that information. And I get it. I don't want it either. I don't even like saying it. But all I have learned is that does matter in these spaces, in social justice spaces. It really does matter how we are approaching one another, and that we're not recycling harm, or that we're not getting caught up in catharsis of power structures, of wanting to control a narrative because of how we're you know what I mean? It does matter, because that's how the movement or movements in general get eaten from the inside. The people on the outside they wait and watch movements get devoured from the inside. They at least wait for that to happen. If it doesn't, then they get in. But a lot of the time, it's people arguing with one another that makes it falter. It makes change not happen. And it's just a reality. So it's like understanding people's complexity, allowing people to be complex, understanding people are not disposable. It's okay to make a mistake. I'm not talking about R. Kelly here. I'm not talking about someone like that. I'm talking about within these spaces. It's okay. Like, for example, like watching YouTube now, watching Adam McIntyre, watching anybody on YouTube right now is awful to watch. It's just a bunch of people hating on one another and getting catharsis off of that. And then they have their following who is also getting catharsis off of dominating what another person's saying, and their whole identity is within this person who's streaming. And then you see all these people saying hateful things to one another. It's an awful thing to witness. It doesn't feel good. That's not the prospect of humanity. That's the shadow of humanity. That's the shame talking. Really is. And it's sad. It feels icky. It doesn't feel good. It really doesn't. It's an awful space. That's why I actually also like really removed myself for like a big part of the year is because of that. Like It's scary out there. People want to tell you you're pathetic. They don't even know you. People want to say you have mental illness. Oh, you're an alcoholic. Oh, you're like, they don't even know you. And they're just saying, but again, I understand where it's coming from. It's coming from their own belief, their own inner worlds, and then finding some type of identity and catharsis with making me feel less than them. And it's been happening throughout time. It's like nothing new. But I'm just saying that that's not great. That's not a good thing. If we believe in something, we should really respect how we believe in something and want to represent it properly and not represent it in a way that demeans other people, maybe. And I'm not saying I'm perfect all the time. I get triggered sometimes. And it's okay if you do too. I'm just saying to dream. It's okay to dream and like be like, I would like it though to not be like that. I wish that we were not like that in these spaces. I wish that we weren't so sport-based and team-based and all these things. And we allowed complexity. And nuance has become like a really overused term that no one really understands. So I think complexity is way better than nuance. Okay. I think I'm okay. Anyways, going back to Kat Tenbarge's questions that completely are connected to my stalker's frivolous TRO that was denied. Okay. Here comes Joe Dunn. Joe Dunn encouraged Alexa and other survivors in the entertainment industry to form an advocacy group. First of all, no, it wasn't about forming an advocacy group. It was just us finding ways to have each other's voices heard and supporting one another in that. It wasn't like to just create an advocacy group. It was like, how do we all individually bring up our voices in this? And he would connect survivors to one another, right? And my voice, my way of going about it was eat predators, and I wanted to protest. And that's an actual factual thing. Like I have the evidence of me creating this, starting protesting against these institutions and alleged predators, for example. And that was my thing. And then other people had their own thing. Is it correct that Dunn held an unofficial advisory role, encouraging the group to establish an organizational structure and legally reviewing e-predators materials? Okay, ready? Here we go. Page 13 of my stalker, September 12th to October 15th. Haley McMurray learns of the e-predators advocacy group for alleged survivors via Amanda Peters, a founding organizer alongside Alexa Nicholas, Kay Brown, Caeli Higgins, Nomi Abadi, and disgraced Senator Joe Dunn. Early members also included Nila Salinas, Jeff Anderson, Shannon Shea Ruth, Melissa, and Jerome Schumann. Okay. Question 1. What are Alexa's credentials and professional experience regarding victim advocacy? Has she ever worked for or been involved in any other advocacy groups besides e-predators? Does she have any training such as from the National Organization of Victim Advocacy? Page 13 of my stalker's filing. Alexa Nicholas had no training to host a group for survivors of trauma that was advertised to thousands. Question 7. How would Alexa respond to the characterization that she is crafting a revisionist history of the origins of e-predators? Page 15 of my stalker's filing. Expresses concern about Alexa Nicholas and Michael Gray, Alexa husband's conduct, and disclosed plans for e-predators. Nicholas and Gray became dismissive and paranoid directly with Haley I don't want to say it. Concern regards Mike. Wait, is this not? I think this is mixed up. Oh, it is mixed up. That's so interesting. This is supposed to be there, and this is supposed to be there. How did that get mixed up? Anyways, they are correlated. This is just switched with this one, which I have no idea how that happened. Anyways, my stalker was concerned about Nicholas and Gray's plans, but they agreed to discuss it more over the coming days. This was supposed to be here, page 19, Why did Alexa establish ePredators as a for-profit entertainment company with Alexa serving in every executive position? Now, this is what's so interesting about this that I find really interesting. And I will be sending this edit later on. But what I find really interesting about ePredators being what Kat is calling it and my soccer's calling it a for-profit is because when I created the YouTube channel, I decided I want to go in the podcast direction for ePredators. I wanted to explain to people everywhere what was happening and what I experienced and what I have learned. It was important to me. And also, I had a stalker at the time, and this person was going to the protests that, you know, any public thing that he was there. So while I was pregnant, it gave birth to where we're at right now, which is ePredators Daily. I was like, wow, you know what? I want to do this. I think this is a great way to spread the information and create community. So it's not a nonprofit. That doesn't mean the person's intentions are not pure or to do something right. For 2.5 years, I was in the streets, literally negative in my own bank account to go protest these institutions. Literally. Out in the streets. It wasn't on a YouTube channel. There was no there was no t-shirts, right? And then, of course, also eventually you're like, how do we make this sustainable? Sure, that question always comes up. But really one of the main reasons for ePredators evolving into what it evolved into was to hopefully reach more people. Reach more people, be in a safer space for me, etc. So I still don't, I don't understand why a woman can't be in every executive position of something that she created and why she has to be a witch or demonized for doing so. I still find that to be quite, I don't know, I just find it to be quite peculiar. But misogyny. Typically achieved by selling products or services, and profits are used for various purposes like reinvestment, paying employees, or distributing dividends to shareholders. There's no shareholder. I'm not a public company. This is directly in contradiction of Nicola's ongoing public presentation since August 2022 that she envisioned ePredators as a nonprofit, a belief her followers took to heart and continue to address the group as a nonprofit publicly. Just simply not true. The nonprofit format, for example, I don't even think, Melanie, did I ever talk about nonprofit? No. I did not. So I still don't even understand that. It's like ePredators was literally a protest crew. We were just out. We're protesting. Like, we're making noise. It was like a radical. It had no anything. Like, and it grew so quickly. By August, basically, a month and a half later, I was protesting Nickelodeon, for example, and then it got recognized. People were actually paying attention to, you know, what I was doing and what people were participating in and caring about. It grew very quickly. There was no chance, really, in the very beginning to even understand where it was going at all. It was just kind of like, let's see where this goes. Bizarre. Okay, question 8. Based on information from 5 sources with direct knowledge and public social media posts, is it fair to say that Alexa has driven internal and external conflicts regarding ePredators, including personal attacks against other members and efforts to turn the rest of the group against specific members? I love she's asking me that, Melanie. Question 9. Why has Alexa used ePredators YouTube channel to attack former members? of the group? What purpose does this serve within victim advocacy? Okay, wait, okay. Well, I'll first go what my stalker said, and then I want to kind of answer that. Page 21, December 24th, 2023 through January. Now, this is my stalker's words in the filing before Kat reached out to me. On YouTube, respondent Nicholas dedicates dozens of hours broadcasting to thousands of viewers with targeted episodes intended to badger and ridicule various people. After a cryptic Guess Who style marketing campaign on her social profiles, Nicholas launches a series of videos on December 26th. And you'll all find out why those videos began. This series dedicates dozens of hours of streaming to whatever. Okay, names with unique videos featuring her targets, including the name I will not mention, who Nicholas referred to by both his name as well as his common name, K. Brown, who Nicholas insinuates in the stream titled to be deceptive, Caeli Higgins, who Nicholas labels in the stream titled to be a thief. No, she did steal the money. I just want to make this very clear. Michaela Higgins stole money from the ePredators Patreon. Survivor's money. Stole money from the Patreon, the PayPal that was connected to the Patreon, and transferred it to herself with no notice, no conversation, no anything. And months after she was already out of participating in ePredators advocacy. Months. That's literally a fact. There's evidence to prove it. And the reason why it was important to talk about that was because Michaela Higgins was going around messaging nonprofits, spreading insane misinformation about me with literally no basis whatsoever, smearing ePredators because she was no longer in it. Because she wanted to be making money off of it. And that's not where ePredators was even at whatsoever in 3 weeks of protesting for change for survivors. But that is a fact. She stole that money. That money was taken by her. That's the truth. And when she was continuing to spread misinformation and talking to other survivors, to the community, it becomes very important to inform when that type of behavior is happening. Right? It'd be the same as certain people talking about Drake Bell, right? Being like, okay, this happened to him, but this is what he's doing and we need to talk about it, right? So if you're on that side of the whole, you get it. It's important to talk about when anybody is harming other people or doing something that is not right and illegal. So, yeah. Okay. Then there's Nila Salinas, who Nicholas insinuates in the stream title to be connected to her stalker. Yes, she was literally talking to you, sharing the conversations, talking to you, and supporting you. And then there's even like a message of them doing the hand shaking emoji. I'm not insinuating, it was the truth. Nila Salinas was talking to my stalker. Positively. I think, I don't remember, Miko, I know I would have to pull it up, but like literally being like wanting to take me down. In other words, like I want to find the exact words, but it's like, it was that. So I'm not insinuating. I know, I saw it, you posted it. It's person posted talking to this individual. And of course, after a certain period of time, they're not even talking to one another. And Autumn Whitaker, who Nicholas labels in the title as dangerous. Yes, that person is dangerous. That person was arrested for literally BEATING with a lightsaber to Michael Milosh in a carport with BLOOD everywhere, and then fled the crime scene and got arrested. That person is and continues to be, in a lot of ways, very destructive, and that person, dangerous. If you witness that, what I witnessed from that person, but I just think it's so interesting that Kat's reading this and it's like, look into these people, and it's ridiculous. Okay. And members and moderators from within her company's current membership with whom Nicholas had recently mismanaged complaints and conflicts. I don't know what that means. Okay. Tenbarge relies on other uncredible and highly biased sources. Tenbarge's email also stated that she was in contact with 5 former members of ePredators. So now we're going to go into those people, which I'm sure maybe you've seen them on Twitter. You've probably seen them in the comment section of other people's YouTube videos. And now it's time to introduce these people. Really. On April 26, 2024, Tenbarge admitted in an interview that Nila, Salinas, was one of Tenbarge's sources for the unpublished article. Additionally, Caeli Higgins emailed Alexa on May 8th, 2024, stating that she was in contact with Tenbarge. She did. And therefore likely one of Tenbarge's sources for the unpublished article. As explained in greater detail below, Salinas and Higgins are highly biased and unreliable former associates of Alexa. You guys know about who abuse of power is? Does anyone know who abuse of power? Guys, let's not get distracted on the Drake. We're talking about sealed documents. If they're sealed or they're not sealed, let's not. Let's stay focused. Associated with someone who harmed a child. Another episode, my friend. Another episode. We're not even in that right now. Like, we're dealing with this specific issue that harmed me deeply, that defamed me maliciously, spread misinformation. You understand? Like, just please stay focused on. Otherwise, if you don't want to be, you can be somewhere else right now. I just want, you don't need to be in here wasting that kind of time for yourself. Like, go outside and enjoy your life. Like, if this is not what we're talking about right now. Okay. Does anyone even know what abuse of power is? And yes, correct. What Miko's saying here, I have power within. This is what I sent to Kat Tenbarge when she asked me the questions. I want other survivors to feel that power too. I do not support Drake Bell explicitly talking to a 15-year-old girl. Even the claims he did not know her age until he asked. You guys this is not about this. This is what happens when I make it not members. It's like, what? You want me to not have my own, read forensic data? I'm not. This is another thing. Who is this person? I don't see. I think the biggest issue, Taylor Stode. Did you read the public documents? I'm just curious. I'm not sure, but I'm just curious if you did. Yeah, no, Drake Bell did not plead guilty to SA. That is true. He did not. Yes, I did cover the, yeah, okay. Yeah. This, okay, you guys. My Lord. My Lord. Jesus. I'm just going to watch this for a second. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to go through the documents because that's a disaster. You can read the documents, and in my complaint, it talks a lot about those documents and what was included within them, what evidence. But they're like anything, you guys. There's misinformation around things, so it doesn't. What matters is wanting to know all the information and hopefully that comes to some form of the truth of the matter. And then you can have your own feelings about it and your own opinions about it and what you think about it and have discussion around it. But read, if you're interested in those documents and you're wanting to know what is contained, then they're public. If you want to read them, you can read them and learn about that case, that specific case. The Last Zombie, you can't leak public documents. It's not even real. Anyways, I think you're confused with WikiLeaks, where you like hack into someone's thing and then you like leak personal and like emails. It's not this. Public documents aren't. It's not the same thing. Sorry. Zombie. Salinas is a former volunteer of ePredators. When Alexa met Salinas in person at a protest, Alexa observed that Salinas was wearing an ankle monitor. When Alexa inquired about the ankle monitor, Salinas claimed it was related to allegations she kidnapped her child across state lines. Abuse of power. Do you remember abuse of power? Anybody? The one who literally committed revenge, PORN, of me? Salinas left ePredators after Alexa informed the volunteers of the organization of her stalker's harassment. Salinas sided with and lashed out against Alexa in public. She created an anonymous account on X called Abuse of Power. Through the account, Salinas solicited complete strangers, many who never interacted with Alexa. Yeah, abuse of power is very disgusting. Abuse of power, I want to talk about this for a second, actually. Abuse of power, 4,000, tweets in almost less than a year, harassing me and my family about the most, obscene, false, out of this world statements, posts, making articles that were even taken down for community violations. Like Nila is a bully. Nila is in horrendous, just truly horrendous in how she has treated me when I had been nothing but so kind to Nila. Literally, go ask Nila just to show you anything I've ever done to Nila. So kind to Nila. Always was kind. But sometimes she was upset if I didn't answer her right away. I'm human. But she would get very upset about that. Fast forward, when she was out of ePredators, she made highlights where it was called Helexa, where she would obsessively, I have every single one, and so does Kat. This was sent to MSNBC. This is way before Guess Who, okay? Talking about how she was going to go on a podcast to talk about me, spreading misinformation, following Milosh. At some point, she was actually I think, I don't know, Miko can say it in the chat. Wasn't she following Milosh? It was just like, really, she was awful to me. She was a bully way before Guess Who. And she was talking to my stalker and coming up with plans to do X, Y, and Z. It was nonstop. It was really nonstop. And it was awful. And then it ended up becoming abuse of power, which is not surprising to me, I guess. But it was awful. And then when people were reaching out to me constantly, asking me about Nila or asking me about Caeli and what the nonprofits, etc., I had to address this, right? And so I chose, in very EP, I guess, style, to make my Guess Who series and take my voice back and not deal with their bullying anymore and misinformation. And it was to actually share the truth of the matter, and also to warn possibly other people who could get into contact with them what they could be like. And that's that. That is that. And somehow it led Nila to 4,000 tweets and doxing my husband's family's household, posting the family house photo, posting my children, posting revenge, PORN, having to make a police report on this myself. Anyways, moving on. Okay, Salinas sided with my stalker and lashed out against Alexa in public. She created an anonymous account called Abuse of Power. Through the account, Salinas solicited complete strangers, many who never interacted with Alexa, for negative stories about Alexa. Some of these individuals were used by Tenbarge as sources for the unpublished story. From February 25th, 2024 through May 16, 2025, the Abuse of Power account posted over 4,000 tweets attacking Alexa. Below are true and correct screenshots of a small number of posts Salinas made on the Abuse of Power account in that period. Nila Salinas is a mother, by the way, of a child that is Nova's age. Did anyone ever watch Okie Dokie? Who's watched Okie Dokie's videos? Cat's friend. What story was unpublished? This lawsuit's not about the story. This is about what Kat said. You understand? So wow, not that many people, I guess not that many people have watched Okie Dokie. I'm surprised by that. Anyways, Okie Dokie is a, I guess, recent content creator who has spread mad misinformation about me. And in my personal opinion, just garnished what was ePredator's community into her own through the collective takedown of me through the misinformation from Kat and Adam McIntyre. And there is a video with Okie Dokie where this feminist, she calls herself a fucking feminist. And that's always kind of annoying. Like when it starts with that, you're like, I don't even know if I believe that, because when you start with that, you're like, it just like rubs you the wrong way. But she is a feminist, or self-proclaimed feminist. And she says in one of her videos, when it came to my stalker and the restraining order, that it was based off of a meme. And that I'm playing a victim. Why don't you tell Blake Lively that? By the way, Ophie. Why don't you give an iota of how you talk about me to Blake Lively or Amber Heard? And the reason why I say this is not to literally do this. It's the hypocrisy of Okie Dokie and people like Kat Tenbarge, where it's like they say one thing, and then when it's something that doesn't pertain to their world going on, then it doesn't apply. That rule doesn't apply. And they do the exact thing that they criticize or they go up against and try to, raise hell about. But at one point, Okie Dokie says in a video that Kat never talked to my stalker. I'm going to pull it up, okay? Okie Dokie and Adam McIntyre ends up platforming Okie Dokie's video about me and my stalker. Good job, Adam. Trying to make a survivor look like they're not telling the truth, in my opinion. And then Ophie says, I think something along the lines of that Kat told Ophie that she did not talk to my stalker. And then Ophie goes on to say that I'm saying this to make myself the victim. You see the narrative here? Alexa now is just saying this because she's trying to play the victim, and more people will feel bad for her if Kat did speak to her stalker. Well, everybody, in Kat's own words, my stalker is dangerous, and she did reach out to this person and spoke to them, I guess, on multiple occasions, I think, apparently. Where are you? All right. Let's listen. I was like, why is this? It's the condensation from the ice melting. Okay. Let's listen to Kat's own words. And now this is a legal, okay, just for everyone to know, it's a legal recording of Kat interviewing, because just to say a side note here is that Kat was reaching out and talking to all, we get it by now, these individuals. Not reaching out to people that were very much in the know from the beginning of ePredators and had a lot of knowledge of everything that went down and what's been happening and what I also have personally have gone through. And so I told Kat, like, here's other sources, like people that were actually there that I know in person, not people that I've never met before, etc. So this is a legal recording, but I do want you all to listen to what Kat has to say. And Ophie, so what do you have to say about it now? If that would make people feel bad for me, that she did talk to my stalker, do you feel bad for me now?
And I did want to start by kind of talking about the elephant in the room, which is the situation with Manny slash Shin.
Oh, Jesus.
And I completely empathize with everything that both of you said. I definitely do not want to put anyone in danger or platform anyone who is dangerous. I have not spoken to him. I actually reached out to him for the first time today in an email that was just a request for comment.
I love that Kat tries to beat around the bush there, where she's like, I haven't spoken to him, but I did reach out to him today. You're like, you even know this is shit. Like I feel it. Like you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm saying there's a dangerous person and I'm reaching out. And to be honest, we will read the email to my stalker and how scary that kind of email is. But you can hear it in her voice. She's like, I haven't, because she knows it's going to look down upon. It is, Kat. It is down. It is looked down upon. It is awful. This person's restrained and you're talking about the protected party to this person. And in the email, even saying that you don't even know if the article is going to have this or you need this person's comment. And then you're telling them what I've said in regards to the restraining order and emboldening and facilitating the violation of the restraining order. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. And my kid's fucking involved, you know? Yeah, I know he's dangerous, but I am going to talk to him about the protected party and that the protected party was maybe like making it all up. Like, what? Okay. If Adam McIntyre was not your friend, I would be very curious to see what his commentary would be on that. I would just be curious to see. If that was me, if that was E-Predators, what would you all think? This person's aware that this person is dangerous. She says it. And then emboldening. I mean, what would you think? What if this happened to you? Right? I'm just saying. Okay. All right. Kat. It's okay. So let's look at what some of the things abuse of power would post about. Was this meme thing? That's something that Okie Dokie said. Okie Dokie, and this is just anger, but like really like you fucking suck. This current version of you in this time and place of who you are fucking suck. Like you literally spread misinformation about me. You literally downplayed a very dangerous person. And I do want to say, just really quickly, Ophie, one of the individuals that was like talking to you, who you would relay and talk about this person has apologized to me. This person deals with their own mental situation and was taken advantage of with that and has apologized to me. You don't even know who you're talking to, what you're talking about. You're just a content creator trying to make it. And that's okay that you're trying to make it and trying to make content, but not on the backs of pain and suffering and misinformation, dude. That's absolutely not okay. Do not ever do that again. You brought on a lot of harassment towards me. Did. And made people believe things that were just not true whatsoever. And just one of the main extremely hurtful things I would say when it came to you is that you were downplaying a stalker. Don't put nuance on a dangerous person who's restrained, okay? It's not nuanced. Don't embolden his delusions of grandeur, okay? Don't do that. There's kids involved. And the kids are protected, you understand? Don't do that. It's fucking awful. To be honest with you, it's absolutely disgusting how you downplayed that. And you tried to make me out to be somebody who was playing the victim when actually Kat did talk to my stalker. So how can you be reliable about anything else in the future when you already lied about that? Or spread misinformation, I guess. Really dangerous. And it was not just based off of a meme. Do your proper due diligence and read the restraining order and all of the exhibits of what this person did and continues to do. It was not based off of just a meme. It's not the truth. But here is the exhibit that they like to fixate on, which is him from American Psycho pointing a GUN at the camera, and underneath, look how you don't see what's underneath it. Underneath it is my fucking name. Okay? And my husband's. And many other EP members as well that were absolutely terrified by this. Not only because of this isolated experience, but because of what this isolated, this isolated moment in time compiled upon a bunch of other very scary threats and behavior. This is one exhibit out of almost 100. And this is what Ophie Dokie wanted to spread about me, that I got a restraining order based off of a meme. Why don't you say that about Blake Lively? It was just because Ryan Reynolds was jealous. I'm just saying, that's the behavior. Downplaying somebody coming forward about something that is real. Goes on and on. Here's my children. So Abuse of Power would post about my children. My mom. I can't even believe I'm fucking reading this right now. Okay. So, Abuse of Power, right? Nila Salinas. Harassing me for about 1 year. And then her own personal account prior to that. But as abuse of power. Guess what I find out? Kat is talking to abuse of power in a group chat and telling people that abuse of power is a trustworthy account. Kat, an account that has made 4,000 tweets harassing a survivor, their kids that are toddlers. Okay? Can't believe I'm even saying this. Their personal belongings, saying they're not a survivor, making an article. You know what one of the articles was before, Kat called this account trustworthy? Was an article that what was it? Alexa Nicholas likes older men. And about the grooming that I experienced, and that it was me just liking older men. And Kat Tenbarge calls this account trustworthy. Not just that, Adam McIntyre retweets that account. The hypocrisy is the last zombie's got to go. Bye, last zombie. You're going to be the zombie over there. The zombie's just going to keep just being a zombie, I guess. I mean, it's a proper name, actually. But anyways, Kat, a journalist at MSNBC, who's supposed to be ethical, who is supposed to be non-biased, which we all know secretly they all are, but it's like you're supposed to be non-biased. So when you're reporting, how you go about like your reporting process and like making sure you're getting all the facts straight. Supposed to be against cyberbullying, against this, against that, against harassment of women, is calling that account trustworthy in writing and talking to anonymous people through it. Huh? And then at one point she even says, I think I know who it is. Why are you okay with someone being harassed? Why? Why do you think accounts are great, as you said, about exposing Rich, who was harassing me by the hour at one point? Literally, like it was by the hour. A survivor, a woman. I didn't do anything worth that or deserving of that. Why are you okay with that? But you're not okay with that when it's someone you're writing an article about so that you can keep your public image strong when it's something that's trending, or I don't know. But that shows your own intent, and that shows your own way of viewing me, that you thought I was worth and deserving of harassment and to be dogpiled on because you couldn't take accountability for not telling the truth. And then that account, revenge. We get it. Okay. So here we go. And we're getting towards the end. God, I'm gonna take a bath. Here is abuse of power, Tenbarge. I mean, it just goes on and on. I'm not even gonna put myself back there. Salinas also created various articles on Medium attacking and defaming Alexa. Medium unilaterally took down Salinas' articles for violating its terms of service. Salinas doxed the residence of Alexa's husband's parents and even publicly posted revenge, PORN, of Alexa. What an asshole. Higgins. Maybe one out of the 14 watching is Higgins. Here you go. Higgins is a former volunteer for e-predators. Initially, Higgins demonstrated great interest in being involved with e-predators. Afterwards, Higgins demanded monetary compensation for protesting and stated she would not engage in any advocacy unless she was paid. As a result of Higgins' obsession with making her advocacy contingent on monetary compensation, the relationship between Higgins and Alexa soured, and Alexa asked Higgins to leave the group. Upon leaving, Higgins became retaliatory. She disparaged Alexa and e-predators to other nonprofit organizations. She also stole funds from e-predators' Patreon account and deposited those funds in her personal account. Higgins has a documented history of engaging in defamation. So maybe something you don't know about Higgins is that, Kat, since these are one of your sources. Higgins has a documented history of engaging in defamation. In early March 2024, Frederick Durand, is that how you say him? DJ Snails is easier to say, was awarded $1.5 million. Anyone hear that? $1.5 million against Higgins for defaming him in social media posts by falsely claiming he was a SP. Prior to that, in 2021, Higgins was sued by her ex-boyfriend for defamation based on Higgins claiming he SA'd her. See Tall and Higgins et al. The matter ultimately settled. Two defamation suits, $1.5 million judgment. Wild. Definitely a red flag, Definitely a red flag. Alexa responds to Tenbarge's 18 questions and her counsel warns NBC. Does this feel like a book at this point, anybody? Who has been watching since the beginning? That's actually what I want to know. Who? It's getting dark out. I'm about to get no, I'm not getting a blanket. It's still too hot. I was like, I'm going to get a blanket out for this, but no. Who has been watching since the beginning? What'd you delete, Melanie? I see you. The zombie thing, it's too much. It's like, go somewhere else and go enjoy your day, night. What are you in here for? Why are you in here? And not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is actually really important. Okay. So, Alexa contacted Tenbarge by telephone. And Kat, do you remember that phone call? I do. I remember telling you the people that you are talking to are not well. And you have to be careful. And look what happened. It's like, I told you these people will bring you into a swamp of hell. Did for me. They're a mess and dangerous, and no, they do not have good intentions. They're not telling the truth. And then I told you on the phone that these documents are not sealed. These documents are public. They're police records. Cleveland police records. And then I even memorialized that in a text message, which you confirmed that we talked about that. Your job as a journalist is to corroborate that. And you know the drill. But it's just sad. I literally called you to have a heart-to-heart with you and be tell you what was going on and told you I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to show you everything. And I can't believe you're listening to my stalker. I can't believe you're listening to this restrained person who you don't want to embolden this person. I'm scared. Like, I was scared. Okay. Moving on. Critically, during the call, Alexa offered to show Tenbarge how to obtain the Bell records online to refute Tenbarge's assertion that the Bell records were sealed. Surprisingly, Tenbarge explicitly stated that she was not interested in the information. Not interested in the information she was asking about. Isn't that weird? I just don't get that. Like, how can you not be interested in the information that you're asking about? You seem real interested in the chat with Adam. I mean, so much so that you sent him a fucking work email that you weren't even CC'd on that was sent to the legal department. And you know why I think, in my opinion, why you did that? It triggered Adam because of who it was who sent that letter and how it was connected to him. You know what I mean? And I mean, that is going to trigger him. That's gross. I don't know any journalist who doesn't understand that maybe somebody who you're going to write an article about might talk about you. That comes part of the job. You don't interfere with your subject or your, I guess, whatever KILDED story subject wants to talk about it. You don't try to, like, in my opinion, change the whole narrative by who and what the letter represented for you and for him. It set me up. It set up your audience to think I was this predator protector and that I have sealed documents and I'm attacking victims. And I watched, I saw what you were doing and what it felt like. And it was awful. It was shit. And it was malicious. And you had complete, reckless disregard for the truth. And you know that's against company policy, right? Critically, during the call, Alexa offered to show Tenbarge how to obtain the Bell documents. We got through that. Here's the text message. You can see right here. I said, "Hey, Kat, sorry, I know you said you didn't want the Drake Bell docs on the phone from the Cleveland police records. We obviously spoke about them being publicly available. Are you sure putting the file together?" You see what she says underneath? If you want to include the Drake Bell docs in the file, yeah, because I want you to look at the documents I have and go and look at it on through the Cleveland police and compare and make sure that you know they're not sealed documents and that they're public because you asked me, and it's accusatory in a lot of ways. I have sealed documents. It's a crime. So yes, I would like to set, like, what kind of journalist is this? Imagine like asking somebody if you did something and then you have evidence that you didn't, like, let's say it was a robbery. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some random crime. Let's say it was robbery and you're like, I have evidence that I did not rob. Imagine the journalist going, you know what? No, actually, I don't want that. Even though I asked that, I all of a sudden don't want. Why don't you want that? Is that not weird? Am I wild for... Don't get so caught up in the chat that you guys are not listening to what I'm saying, because what's more important right now is not this internal dialogue about Drake Bell. Okay? Everyone has their own opinion about Drake fucking Bell. It's crazy. You understand? This is not a Drake Bell salute stream. This is a what Kat Tenbarge did in regards to Drake Bell's public documents and how she harmed a survivor movement. Am I making any sense? I know you are, Leela Stitch. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be like that, but I'm just like, I just don't want you guys to get caught up in this Drake Bell fight. It's like, it's, you know, it's just, I feel like I'm like 1 year ago. Okay. What's really important is for us to start actually paying attention to misinformation, how we participate in it, and how easy even maybe an influencer like Kat Tenbarge, a journalist influencer like Kat Tenbarge, can make you think something is true when it's not. And that's the conversation right there. On April 18th, 2024, Alexa provided 115 pages. I just want to say, like, I literally provided 115 pages to Kat Tenbarge, answering all of her questions, sending her all of the evidence, and then a Google Drive as well with a plethora. Like, I mean, it was insane. I literally sent her everything under the kitchen sink of things throughout time of predators, every convo, etc. Okay. The instructions on how to access, Melanie, actually, you should send me that email that Kat sent to you in regards to you talking. I want to actually read that a little bit later, because Melanie even talks to Kat, and then at one point Kat basically is like, yeah, that's what the evidence looks like. Like, Alexa, everything is pointing to that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is what she said. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Her research agreed with Melanie's statements. And then look how she treats me. Okay. So on April 19th, 2024, Alexa's prior counsel sent a letter to NBC's legal team about the unpublished article, the first legal letter to NBC. The letter was to ensure that NBC did not proceed with publishing defamatory statements against Alexa or e-predators. Tenbarge was not a recipient of the first legal letter to NBC. A true and correct copy of the first legal letter to NBC is attached here too as Exhibit G. Adam, if you go live, if you go live about this, which I actually asked you on Instagram, like, do not make money off of my trauma. And then you went and made a video about the downfall of me and went through my childhood trauma and maybe made money off of it. I literally asked you not to do that. Let's put that aside for now. You go live, tell me who basically sent you that legal letter. What's the rest of that convo? You guys are all so transparent when I've been the most transparent, and I literally show everything. Then show that convo where you got sent that. I mean, it's going to be anyways shown, but. And you're coming up, Adam, in this complaint and your participation in this. But time to get real, Adam. Time to get real. Like, you're young for sure, but Do not spread misinformation like that. But you might have really trusted your best friend here. But regardless, don't do that. But we'll get into why Adam is so protective of Kat, because Kat helped keep his YouTube channel alive. Brought his YouTube channel actually back to life after it was taken down. And Kat was the one to restore it. So I guess there's a little scratch of the back feeling there. It's a long stream. It's like, I'm picturing it as an actual stream. It just goes on and on. It's not that tranquil either. Okay. This is a live stream from last year where she discusses the release for Quiet on Set. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, thank you, Captain. Shockingly, people can support both Drake and Alexa as survivors. There's complexity in human beings. Like, why are we tearing each other down? What's with this? For people we don't even know sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't even there. Like, it's like kind of wild. Like, let's lead by example in creating safe spaces to feel like share each other's feelings about something without tearing one another down or making false claims against somebody. Like when it came to like Okie Dokie, for example, right? How can we just talk to one another and have different opinions? You know, maybe someone doesn't think that Drake Bell did that, right? And then there's somebody who the labeling of bad person when it comes to someone's opinion, I think where there is the limit there is when it's becoming damaging and harmful. But it's okay for all of us to communicate our feelings about something, or like, you know, this is what I feel. What do you think about this? Did you read this? I missed that. Like communication and dialogue is really important. Like it's okay to talk as long as we are reminded that we don't need to, again, find catharsis or feel good about putting each other down while we're doing it. Imagine someone being presented with new information and adjusting their opinion accordingly. Yeah, it's like it's never gonna. Imagine that. That's okay. So it feels like a dream that's like far away, right? All right. So, did anyone watch Adam McIntyre's? I'm going to engage with the chat for a second. Like, has anyone watched Adam McIntyre's videos about me? When he was saying they were sealed documents and like... Oh, okay, you did. So like, what were your thoughts on that video? Like when you were watching Adam McIntyre, what feelings came up? What did you feel about me? What did you feel about him? What did you feel about the whole situation? What did his videos make you feel like? I think it's like a good question actually to like check in somatically with yourself when you're watching someone's videos. Like, what is it making you feel like? Like, what's coming up when you're watching content? Like, what did it give you a fight or flight feeling? Did it, what were the thoughts and feelings to that? I honestly don't remember that, but he's mean about everybody. That's not good, Adam. That's not good. He's mean about everybody. Well, maybe that's because Adam feels insecure. Maybe Adam was not treated the way that, you know, he should have been treated when he was younger, probably. I mean, I don't know. But I know with me, when I feel angsty and, you know, I go back to like my middle school, elementary school days, and I'm feeling that like, why aren't you listening to me? I need to be heard. And like, also it's kind of this, you want to like, I don't know if anyone can agree with this or like feel this, but you want them to think they can't mess with you kind of feeling. Like, even though you feel sad and hurt, you're like, I'm going to put up that like tough guy. Like, it's not going to happen to me. Jelly, sorry you had to go through what you did with your stalker. I'm just absurd at how this has become a safe abuse apologist. There's no abuse apology. What abuse apology is happening here? Kayla, I appreciate you saying what you said, but who's apologizing for an abuser? I'm not an abuse apologist. If I say to you that I want to approach my own ways of going about myself as a survivor in these spaces, and maybe sometimes punishment, for example, or ridicule doesn't work, and I'm trying to find new ways of approaching that, that's not an abuse apology or abuse apologist. That's trying to find ways to make a better world and for people not to abuse people. You know what I mean? I'm just saying my channel, who I am as a person, I'm not apologizing or being an abuse apologist. I'm trying to find ways for discussion around these topics to happen without hurting one another. And also I'm trying to find ways that maybe are the opposite of how we grew up when it came to, the prison system, for example, and these ways that we've been taught on how to get people to do the right thing and to apologize for their behavior or get better. Like I'm just a human. I'm not apologizing for somebody's abusive behavior towards somebody or wanting, what I'm trying to clarify is I want consequences and accountability for people who were harmed, but maybe punishment, right, is not the best way of getting there. That's it. It's just punishment, consequences, accountability difference. But that's not what this is. That's all. And I'm figuring out as I go. Maybe in a month from now, I'll have a new, like, I'm just saying where I'm currently at. Like, I'm trying to feel through a lot of this. I'm just a person. And I'm definitely not apologizing for abusers. It's not it at all. I'm just trying to find a way to stop the abuse from happening over and over again. Yeah, the abuse needs to stop right now. Yeah, it really does. Okay, so here we go. So on April 24, 2024, Alexa announced on her YouTube channel that she would be taking a hiatus due to blank violating the restraining order and Tenbarge facilitating additional violations of the restraining order. So just so you guys know, within this complaint that you can go ahead and read, it's public, it's not sealed. There will be like footnotes, right? Where you can click on all of the, the exhibits, etc., links that you'll see everything in there. So if I'm not pulling something up, but it's mentioned in the complaint, you yourself can go ahead, get the complaint, and then you can click on, each thing and see that. So everyone knows I took this break. This was 1 year ago, basically exactly, telling people that update shortly after I filed a police report against my stalker for violating his restraining order, which he did. He has retaliated and has attempted to weaponize the court system to further stalk and harass me. Meanwhile, his enablers, including a journalist, are orchestrating a malicious attempt to platform him. And now here we are, right? This has been incredibly re-traumatizing, harmful to my well-being, and puts me and my family's life at serious risk. The fear of my life and my daughter's life has severely impacted my ability to live stream and focus on activism. Thank you to this community. Goes on. Sometime after Alexa provided her responses to Tenbarge's 18 questions and the first legal letter to NBC, the Tenbarge article, somehow the NBC article, by the way, was just like updated. Does anyone remember? Does anybody in the chat remember in the NBC article, it had exposing Rich in the article, and then now it has vanished? Maybe someone remembers that. Because in my live, even when I was talking about that article, I mentioned in my live that she included somebody who was harassing me, which was exposing Rich. So maybe somebody remembers that. I have a feeling somebody does. On information and belief, NBC Legal took a closer review of the Tenbarge article after the first legal letter to NBC. In response, NBC dictated the removal of references to exposing Rich and other social media accounts from the Tenbarge article due to their lack of reliability and clear bias. Tenbarge facilitates Alexa Stalker's breach of the restraining order. So here we go. Now we're going to get into the email. It's a dense lawsuit, right? It's surprising how much has transpired in a year. On April 25th, 2024, Tenbarge emailed my stalker. In the email, Tenbarge acknowledged the existence of the restraining order against my stalker. In the email, Tenbarge asked my stalker several questions about Alexa and the restraining order. A true and correct copy of Tenbarge's April 25th, 2024 email to Alexa Stalker is attached here too as Exhibit H. Shortly thereafter, blank responded to Tenbarge. Shocking. Shocking. In the written statement, Alexa Stalker violated the restraining order by utilizing Tenbarge to communicate indirectly with Alexa. Remember the rules when it comes to the restraining order? Okay. Including making several false and disparaging statements about Alexa. In the email, I'm not going to say his name, requested that he have until May 7, 2024 to provide his official comment. How kind. A true and correct copy of written statement responding to Tenbarge is attached here too as Exhibit 1. So guess how this letter really like surfaces into everyone's life. My stalker used Kat Tenbarge's email to him to try to terminate the restraining order. Adam McIntyre has his own section in there. Kat has her own section in there. MSNBC has their own section in there. Nice one, guys. On May 7, 2024, Haight sent a follow-up written statement to Tenbarge. In the email, blank violated the restraining order again by discussing and disparaging Alexa. In addition, blank provided 2 links. The first link was to the complaint of Milosh versus Gibbs for malicious prosecution. So you can go look at my other Guess Who series where I talk about that whole spiel. But anyways, he sends that. The case involved Alexa's ex-husband initiating a malicious prosecution action against Alexa's former attorneys. On February 9th, 2023, the court granted Alexa's former attorneys anti-SLAPP motion because the complaint arose from statements made in connection with a judicial proceeding and a claim was devoid of merit. The second link was a Google Drive containing PDFs of Salinas' article posted on Medium that were taken down. A true and correct copy of Blank's May 7, 2025 written statement to Tenbarge is attached here to Exhibit J. Alexa discovered Tenbarge's correspondence with my stalker on February 7, 2025. On that date, my stalker submitted Tenbarge's correspondence with him as evidence to support his request to terminate the restraining order. The correspondence had the exact opposite effect. It emphasized why keeping the restraining order in place was necessary and proper. Indeed, on May 7, 2025, the court renewed the restraining order and included Alexa's son. Okay, okie dokie. Renewed. You know, he sent to someone that article, and you know what Salinas's article, what photo was the main photo? At first, I didn't know who this was. What was the photo for this Medium article? That Kat calls this account trustworthy. It was a gun to my head. Okay. And then my stalker sent this image with the link to people. See how it emboldens someone like that? Sometimes I look at my phone, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get an apology soon, but no. No. In the period following, NBC puts an end to Tenbarge's unpublished article. Sometime thereafter, NBC KILLE'd Tenbarge's unpublished article. Tenbarge subsequently claimed the unpublished article did not come out because Alexa wasn't viewed as a well enough person. That's what Kat said. We'll find out in Discovery about that. Kind of odd, Kat, when I was literally being reached out by most publications, major publications during that month. Hollywood Reporter, this, that. I mean, like literally, I'm not like tooting my own horn here. I'm like literally saying like that was literally the peak of everything, you know? Wasn't a known enough person. Pretty sure, Kat, that it was because the evidence stacked against you and your sources. And she agreed with Melanie. Oh, yeah. Wait, did you text it to me? Wait, yeah, I'm going to just drag it over here. Okay, wait, let's actually read. Let's read this. Actually. Okay. I mean, do you guys want to read this? I'm sure you maybe. Why isn't this person behind? You have the goddamn sea sponge. Wait, who's a sea sponge? Like SpongeBob? Yeah, they won't. Oh, is it the same, the two? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Don't zoom in. No, I'm kidding. It's so blurry anyways. Yeah. Yeah. No. Actually, it is way clearer resolution. Okay. So, Kat, you still here? You stayed up late to watch my last live where you defamed me and like maliciously. I wonder if you're interesting, right? She's not in here. Dear Miss Tenbarge. Now this is this was written by Melanie to Kat in regards to her personal experience when it came to e-predators since the very beginning, really. And so anyways, Melanie has really seen it all. She's like one of those, you know, when you have a best friend that like is like your best, like the best friend of all best friends of all time. No, like you don't understand. Like my childhood self made her, like in my brain, like I when I first, I was like, this isn't real. Like I'm hallucinating. Like this person's actually real. Like I used to dream about like a friend like Melanie, and then Melanie actually exists and she's my best friend. So like that's my introduction of this person, and she's amazing. And she's also an amazing advocate for so many different causes, but you know, obviously the conservatorship, abusive conservatorship aspect, she is just so rad. Bubblegum bite. And I have some lives with her also when it came to court watching. Like she's an incredible court watcher. Anyways, I can go on and on about Melanie. Okay, I love Melanie. So Melanie messages Kat Tenbarge. We're like the most real over here. It's like a 4-hour stream. I'm like, anyways, let me just roll it all out. Okay, so everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? Okay, so dear Miss Tenbarge, I am reaching out to provide firsthand context and insight into Alexa Nikolas and e-predators, with which I have been involved from its early days. Having witnessed its profound impact, I feel compelled to address the misrepresentations and the smear campaign directed towards Alexa and the organization. I first became aware of Alexa through my work in the Free Britney movement, where she served as a character witness to one of the alleged conspirators of Britney Spears' conservatorship, Jamie Lynn Spears, which, by the way, Adam McIntyre legit made a video where he was like believing Jamie Lynn Spears shitty, like her book. And dude, I actually can't. And not Britney Spears. That was wild to me. That was like one of the, like, wow, you really are biased. Like, you'll go for Jamie over Britney. Like I was like, this is, whoa. I don't know. Does anyone remember that live? I feel like I'm the only one knowing so much of the inside. Everyone's like, we're just here. Okay. As an advocate who led marches and helped organize protests for Free Britney, I was thrilled to see Alexa protesting Diplo with the sign she coined e-predators. I knew from that point she would catalyze change in the industry. Aware of my role, thank you, Melanie. Aware of my role in the Free Britney movement, Alexa reached out to me to participate in one of the initial protests for e-predators. From the third protest onward, I've been consistently involved, witnessing the dedication. Like she's at my house, you know what I mean? Like, I think Caeli came to my house once or twice. I think it was once. Like, literally once. I met Nila like 3 times in my entire life. Is that not wild? And I haven't even met Adam McIntyre. I definitely never met Kat. But wild. Like, I literally have not. And Kay, I mean, I barely, yeah, maybe even more than Caeli, I guess. Like, a time. Anyways. Okay. So, witnessing the dedication and timeless efforts of Alexa and her husband, often working through the night, Melanie would literally see this, designing the professional looking great, I love you, protest signs, and appreciating their strategic approach to protests, which differed from those for Britney because they were scripted by Alexa and filmed by her husband for her personal Instagram page, where she already had a substantial following interested in her activism within the entertainment industry and long before e-predators was conceived. I personally witnessed Alexa organizing these protests, from designing and distributing flyers to reaching out to volunteers and building a community. She meticulously selected the institutions to target, demonstrating her absolute leadership and direct involvement in every aspect of the movement. Thanks for being a real one. I love you. You do say the truth. I saw Alexa organizing the protests firsthand with flyers she designed and created. I saw her reach out to volunteers, connecting us and building a community. Alexa herself chose which institutions to protest. Over time, it became evident that divides within the initial group of volunteers began to emerge. This is not unusual in social movements and often happens strategically to disrupt the progress of advocates. and the Free Britney movement, everything was volunteer work. So when I saw messages from advocates focused on making money without executing any practical funding strategies, it seemed to lack realistic expectations of Alexa. She didn't earn any money from her advocacy efforts until much later through her podcast. Alexa's commitment is not inspired by profit, but in driving systemic change. That is the truth. I distinctly remember instances where early volunteers speculated to be part of the advocacy were noticeably absent during crucial moments. This difference in commitment highlights just how much personal initiative and originality Alexa put into ePredators, which is far beyond mere participation or attendance. It's crucial to recognize that ePredators, both as a name and a movement, was conceptualized and brought to life by Alexa. The allegations suggesting that Alexa stole anything are not only baseless, but also detract from the real issues at hand. Protesting as an act is a universal right and can't be stolen. True. But the unique approach and branding of ePredators are inherently tied to Alexa's vision and leadership. Love you. Additionally, I've personally witnessed disturbing behaviors from individuals who have turned against Alexa, including efforts to stalk and harass her during protests. Melanie was there. Such actions are not only unethical, but also dangerous, contributing further to the challenges faced by those who dare to stand up against established industry malpractices. The stalker, linked to Michael Milosh, who is reported of Alexa, has been recognized as a threat by legal authorities, leading to a 2-year restraining order. Despite this, he continues to undermine other dedicated supporters of Alexa by spreading falsehoods online. He really does. Tyler, he just will all day. I also have been targeted by his tactics, including being falsely accused of being a paid activist. Yeah, my stalker also said that Melanie then was a paid plant of, like, what was it? Was it TriStar? Yeah, and my stalker went inside the TriStar building when he was stalking me. It's like, try to derail it. Yes, no, it's crazy. Okay. Anyways, as you continue to investigate and report on this situation, I urge you to consider the integrity and significant impact of Alexa's work, along with the detrimental effects of the smear. The reason why I'm reading all this is because when you hear Kat's response, you need to know everything that Melanie said, because it becomes like an absolute. The narrative being pushed by some does not reflect the truth of what I and many others have experienced alongside Alexa. Thank you for your attention. You know how Kat responds? Thank you so much, Melanie. You're welcome. I really appreciate you sending this and sharing your informed perspective. This covers a lot of what I plan to include in the piece, as well as a lot of what I've seen in detailed documentation provided by Alexa and others. I'll let you know if there are any follow-up questions. Meanwhile, I want to know how much, Kat was talking to these other people, including my stalker, because someone has said that Kat was talking on the phone with my stalker. So, we'll find out all of this. But you see how she answers? You're like, okay, you saw the documentation. This is all seems to add up with everything that's been documented. Wild. Really, really wild. Okay. So anyways, here in the complaint, we end up showing a lot of the articles that I was in during that time, because it was important to take note that for her to say, for example, that I was not not known enough person during one of the biggest documentaries of our streaming era, whatever. And people were like, oh, Alexa's like insulted that she's irrelevant. No. It was just ridiculous for that being said when you know how much evidence was given to Kat. This really wasn't about me. It wasn't that bothered me. It was what bothered me was that she wasn't taking, saying the evidence that she had, and how that is the real reason that article did not come out. Some lawyers, for example, right? They'll send a letter to a publication and they'll be like, anything you do will be used against you, and don't do anything defamatory. You know, like these like very boilerplate language letters, right? Which I think in a lot of ways, in my personal opinion, Kat and Adam were kind of like trying to make it that way when it came to my legal letter to MSNBC. No, dude, he came after, right? So counsel came after. I sent my own letter, my own exhibits, like all of the screenshots of all the conversations with these people, their posts, their emails. I mean, like, we're talking, it was everything. Like I was just completely transparent because I had nothing to hide. So that's why it was offensive. It's not offensive because I don't care about even being relevant or irrelevant. It's just ridiculous when you see what she has and had, and to boil it down to that, especially during the time that I was in the most legacy media publications and people were reaching out to me endlessly to interview me. So you get what I'm saying. It's not an ego thing. It's just like an absurd, like, it's false. It's, again, part of it's malicious. Okay, so we're moving on. On information and belief, the actual reasons why NBC ended the unpublished article were 1, Alexa's compendium of responses and exhibits to the 18 questions, and 2, Tenbarge's reliance on highly biased and unreliable sources. True. And we'll find out. As a direct result, Tenbarge lost significant credibility with NBC, which Tenbarge blamed on Alexa. You understand? Tenbarge attacks Alexa through Adam McIntyre. Here you are, Adam. You begin. On September 8th, 2024, Alexa made a post on X that contained a picture of Tenbarge with the caption, "One of the reasons I took a break." In response, Tenbarge deployed her close friend and gossip YouTuber Adam McIntyre to attack Alexa. Tenbarge has been friends with McIntyre since he was a minor. How much older is Kat again? I think she's 28. Yeah. Who knows Kat Tenbarge's age? I think she's 28. And he's what, 23 or 24? Mm-hmm. She's 29 years old. Is she 29? Cat associate? A cat associate. I mean, do you know what an associate is? Joined or connected. Who's saying that? Who is an associate of Cat? Cat associate. Wait, who is connected? Who's an associate of Cat? Oh. Wait, Adam McIntyre is 22 years old? No. Wait, is he really? Wait, Adam McIntyre is 22 years old? No, yeah, Kat is 29. Yeah, Kat is 29. Yeah. Anyways, here we go. So, let me know if anyone finds Kat's actual age. Because I don't know if I know her actual age, but I think it is 29. All right. So Tenbarge provided... Oh, okay, here we go. Does anyone remember this? Tenbarge has been friends with McIntyre since he was a minor. Indeed, in a notorious episode, Tenbarge provided McIntyre alcohol when he was only 16 when McIntyre visited the United States. Tenbarge is also responsible for saving McIntyre's YouTube channel after YouTube terminated his account in 2021 for harassment. Have that on video about Kat saving his YouTube channel. On September 9, 2024, McIntyre released a video entitled "The Truth About Alexa Nikolas." The truth. The first McIntyre video was a preemptive attempt to defend Tenbarge and to paint Alexa as attacking Bell's victim. McIntyre attempted to provide Tenbarge's alibi to support her claim that the Bell records were sealed. You want to hear his quote? Here we go. If someone could please, I can't do his accent. If someone could please redirect me to maybe a place online where Alexa has said she has them or how she got them, your friend Kat. He makes a video where Kat sends him a legal document that was sent to the legal department of MSNBC that she was not CC'd on, which we're going to find out who gave Kat Tenbarge this legal letter at MSNBC. Because again, she also says a lot of things about, she said something about MSNBC when it came to what she was doing. So anyways, Adam, you're asking the internet what your best friend knows. Your best friend knows where to get them. Cleveland, police, records, and they're public. I don't know. Isn't that bizarre, Melanie? Like him asking, can anybody out there help me where Alexa got these documents? Dude, it's ask your best friend. She got sent them. She knows where to get them. But see how it starts to spread this, like, where did I get them? They're sealed. Like, Drake sent them to her. Like, it's wild. Kat Tenbarge, born 1997. So yeah, 29. Oh my God, am I doing math right? Wow, 22. Okay. But she knew him when he was a minor, right? So it's very interesting. Okay, she's 28. Anyways, not saying much about that other than obviously this alcohol situation. But all I know right now is that Kat called the court and the court were saying that for that amount, and you know, the subject, this is a journalist talk like that. I'm sorry. I need to laugh for a minute. I need to just laugh. He goes, and you know the subject, and it would only be lawyers. No, they're public. A discovery is public when it comes to this subject. Only lawyer. Wait, Kat told you that? What? Is anyone hearing this? And you know the subject that it would really only be lawyers. But I would love for someone to direct me in a place where Alexa has said why she got them. Kat knows. Kat, they do now. Wait, can you hear me? Oh, yeah, you can hear. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure you can hear me. Like, that's wild to me. This is a journalist who went to school. I didn't even go to college, right? You know? That she went to college. You know, I mean, and she's from Ohio. But only lawyers would get these documents. What are you talking about? Need the nicotine through this. This is wild. Okay, this excuse fails to withstand scrutiny. It is well known that there is a First Amendment right to access judicial records in a criminal proceeding. Duh. But he's like asking the internet, can someone help me? The clerks of the court would also be able to determine, okay, so the clerk, so calling the clerk, for example, they would even be able to determine whether a case is filed under seal pursuant to Ohio law, i.e., it would require a court order sealing the documents. Remember when Kat said she called the Cleveland or the Ohio court and they told her, but no, dude, no. Rather, this was an excuse that Tenbarge fabricated to conceal her blind repetition of exposing Rich's claim that the Bell records were sealed in the Tenbarge article. See, she's preserving her reputation because she is a bad journalist, in my opinion. That's bad journalism. And she wanted to protect that newfound knowledge, I guess. You know what I mean? This is not the only glaring intentional falsehood in the first McIntyre video. In the video, McIntyre repeats a false claim that could only be attributed to Tenbarge, that Alexa never responded to Tenbarge's 18 questions. You ready for this one? Kat Tenbarge has been working on a deep dive of Alexa Nikolas and e-predators. And within that deep dive, oh my God, Kat has spoken to 6 members of e-predators. And obviously, with journalism comes the other side of the story. And that involves reaching out to Alexa, who is, you know, the biggest part of e-predators. Okay. And getting her side. And yeah, probably challenging her on allegations and accusations that a lot of them have been public for e-predators. So she, i.e. Alexa, went into silence and is now blaming Kat. No, I did not go into silence. I sent 100+ documents to Kat and a whole Google Drive of all of the evidence. I actually answered every single one of her questions, which is attached in this complaint. I did the opposite of silence. I confronted and I was extremely transparent. That's defamatory. And aren't you looking at the letter? You're reading from the letter that says I answered. Wait for this part. This was an intentional falsehood that McIntyre also knew was false. You know why? In the first McIntyre video, McIntyre reads from the first legal letter to NBC, which Tenbarge leaked. We're talking about leaked? Like she actually leaked, right? To McIntyre in violation of NBC's policy to not disclose any unpublished news or news gathering information. McIntyre stops reading from the first legal letter to NBC just before the sentence discussing Alexa's April 18th, 2024 response to Tenbarge's 18 questions. You can go back and watch his video. He literally stops right before the legal letter says that I answered the questions. And then I was in silence about it. No, dude. I did not go into silence. I answered her questions. You need to catch up with the first part of Alexa's video. He was one of the survivors that came forward in that documentary. Oh, people are catching people up. Yeah, it's been a long night. And we're almost actually through this. Okay. I think it's important to read the entire thing. I used to do this for other people where I would read the entire complaint. But here we're going to get into what Kat Tenbarge said. What she is being sued for. How she defamed me. With total reckless disregard for the truth. Tenbarge's defamatory statements. On September 9th, 2024, Tenbarge made a series of posts on X that Tenbarge knew were false or were made in reckless disregard for the truth. Collectively, the X defamatory statements. Here we go. Here they are. This is in writing. So everything we're about to say is in writing. All this proves, and the links are provided in the complaint. I wonder if Kat has already read this complaint or she's listening, and here we go. All this proves is that you've been sending around sealed documents from Drake Bell's court case, unprompted. Unprompted? You know what unprompted means, Kat? Again, a journalist not knowing a typical, like a standard vocabulary here. Unprompted, you asked me where I got sealed documents. How is that unprompted? I mean, in what world? Unprompted, you asked me. I have to show you they're not sealed. Otherwise, that's a crime that I committed. Do you understand? Like, I have to... Unprompted. Unprompted, as the text from you shows, I did not want them. So you ask about them being sealed. Then you go on a smear campaign talking about how they're sealed, but you don't even want them. You know what that means, Kat? Just wait. I pray the court of law tells you what this is wild to me. I did not want them, and you insisted for my own, like, reputation that I'm not a criminal, because you're asking me that I have sealed documents from Drake Bell that and an article's coming out about me. Why would I not insist? Is anyone getting what I'm saying? Okay, all in an effort to undermine his underage victim's testimony that you previously defended. I did not send you these documents for the fuck of it. I sent them because you asked me about them, and there was an accusation that they were sealed. Okay. Another one. This was before I confirmed with the Cleveland court that these docs were not publicly available. Not true. I mean, not to my knowledge, because we also spoke to Cleveland court, and they literally showed us where you get those documents. And before I opened the files you sent me and saw they were also unredacted, and unredacted, they're redacted. She has them. And bore no evidence of being submitted to court in the first place. It was very disturbing. They are Cleveland police records. This is a journalist. This was somebody who worked at MSNBC. Bore no evidence of being... Okay. They were not marked by county, city. They appear to be internal documents used by Drake's legal team. She's not in the chat here tonight. Is she? Yes, they do. And none of them were redacted at all. At all. At all. None of them were redacted at all. They were literally redacted by the police. So you're admitting you looked at them? And they were not redacted at all? You did no such thing. That would be called an FOIA request. I think this is called the Sunshine Law, Kat. I think FOIA is like, like a federal thing, but I think the Sunshine Law, it just makes these documents public. You can just request them. I don't think it's like FOIA. And it would take months, years to get the docs back. See how she's like trying to make the public think that she's this like studious journalist that to really believe what she's saying. That's why it's so damaging. Like she's like teaching us months, years. No, we saw earlier in the complaint, I think it was the next day, Kat, someone requested in 2021 to see the public documents pertaining Drake Bell's case. And the next day they made them public. And here she's saying it would take months, years to get docs back, and they would be heavily redacted. They were redacted pretty heavily, if you ever receive them at all. I mean, this is... What? They certainly would not. They did certainly. And they're Cleveland police records. This is how this works. You're a journalist. They would certainly, she said, would not send hundreds of docs containing private info like you sent me. They didn't even send me, but they're just public on a link. From the Cleveland police. First, she said she got them from the court, then the police. No, dude. Do you remember the text message in April? I literally said to you, Cleveland police records. And then I sent her how to do an FOIA request. Now it's this. So interesting. Is it interesting, Kat? That I told you the truth? And you lied? So interesting to try to ruin someone's life and reputation. So interesting. Courts and police officers famously love to give random people, dude, it was all random people in that request. The entire thing was just random people. Some of it was like Washington Post. Some of it was just random people requesting. This is part of law. You're allowed to see the public documents of a criminal case. You're a journalist. They love to give random people hundreds of documents concerning alleged. Here she goes, alleged. Why'd you say alleged, Kat? You don't believe her? Oh, but that part you protected. And it is famously very legal to tweet and live stream images from those documents. Why are you going so ham here? Because I'm calling you out for what you did? Controlling the narrative? Question mark? Notably, the documents you can access through this method are not the documents you sent me. Kat! It's just wild. Sorry. Like she just goes deeper into the lie. It's like not the same as you sent me. They're exactly the same as the Cleveland police records. They're the public records, around 30 pages of them. Huh? Containing no personal information. You sent me hundreds of documents from the case itself. Cleveland police records. What are you looking at? Exposing Rich's tweet? Are you looking at exposing Rich's tweet? Yes. Because you actually retweeted that thread. with that. And then what's her name? Paige Christie ends up making a video like 2 days later or whatever, dude. Spreading that same misinformation. Does she follow you anymore? What happened there? What happened there? Also, on September 9, 2024, Alexa conducted a live stream entitled The Truth About Kat Tenbarge. Tenbarge invaded, it goes on, guys. That's not just the defamatory statements. It goes on. Then she hops in the live. Not this live. And doubled down on her defamatory statements. All my sources are survivors who went to Alexa for help and support and were betrayed by her. Sadly. Betrayed? In what way, Kat? What did she say to your response, Melanie? Yeah. Then she goes on to say, absolutely ridiculous. They shouldn't even have those sealed documents. Huh? If Alexa and her husband even understood what the dogs are. Kat. You are a blogger. A blogger. Now, this sounds awful. Your reckless disregard for the truth and malicious intent here to preserve your own reputation as a professional journalist is, I'm deeply disturbed by this. If you think I'm dumb, you're patting me on the head. I'm a fucking feminist. Oh, if Alexa and her husband only knew. We do. What's going on with you? You know what she says after that? She goes, but they don't. They think they're public. We think they're public. They're public. I mean, this is just, I'm sorry, this is crazy to me. They're literally public. I love that she just went in on this. She must feel like she had a lot to lose there instead of just taking accountability for her actions. Then she says, Alexa, yes, Drake's lawyer hired a PI to interview random women. Random women? I love that she says random women. Random women? First of all, I don't like you calling women random. Miss Feminist. Second, it was the chaperone, aunt that knew her mom when she was pregnant with her. I like how you're trying to spin this. Random women. What's random about being a witness? Imagine just this sounds like Trump talk. Oh, they were just random women. No, there were people that were there. And I don't think that's right to be biased like that as a journalist and call them random women. So that means you really looked into these documents, huh? So you read them. And Alexa sent me these sealed docs. Then she puts it in all caps. She has to put it in all caps. Sealed docs. Melanie, do you mind? You're the best. I love you. I went to go hit it and I was like, that's dead. I love you. Random women. These people that were there were just random women. You call them random men? I don't know. Something about it sounds, right, Melanie? You know what I mean? these random women. Like, these women are telling their truth about what they witnessed, and they're like witnesses. It diminishes them. Totally. It's like everyone's random to Kat unless it like helps her. Like, it's bizarre. Okay. The docs are sealed. And then she continues. Then she goes, maybe you got them from Drake Bell. Kat, I literally told you how to get them, what to do, that they're Cleveland police records. And now you have evidence that I literally did not get them from Drake Bell. I got them from Kate Taylor, a journalist, dude. A journalist that works at a job that you used to work at. I mean, receipts of the docs being sealed, post by multiple people. It's defamation to say the sealed court docs are sealed. Good luck with that. Well, Kat, you have been sued. Appreciate the luck. I asked him my question where Alexa got the sealed docs, and she still has never answered. The public documents don't match up in the document Alexa tweeted. So then you read them, then the thing I posted, it doesn't match up. I mean, this is wild. Then she tweeted a sealed doc, not part of the public docs. Huh? No, I tweeted a public doc, part of the public docs that I sent you, that I told you were Cleveland public police records. Remember? They don't even know the difference between sealed and public documents, I fear. Oh, girl. The irony is like, what is going on? I mean, this is wild. The court clerk said she didn't know how Alexa got those documents. Prove that. Prove that. She posted a sealed doc from the Drake Bell court case, and that could be considered a misdemeanor in Ohio. Oh, now you're calling me a criminal? I feel so horrible for Drake's victim. Alexa put her sealed info on Twitter. No. Wow, though, to do that to me. Wow. Alexa, you're going to leak the victim's sealed documents? If the documents aren't sealed, then prove it. This is the most interesting part of all of this in a lot of ways, because she asked me to prove it, and I did. I ended up, after Adam going on and on for hours, getting so much harassment for being told that I doxed a victim of child SA, that I published sealed documents. I proved it to the public that these are public, like I told Kat, like I showed her. The true and correct copy of the screenshots of the live chats are attached here too. Tenbarge's false statements spread across the internet like wildfire. Now here comes how the misinformation. See, she does that. Adam then regurgitates this on his own channel, which shows he, in my opinion, not a trustworthy person to get information from or to follow. In my opinion. That's scary that someone could do that to somebody. And look at these. My stalker even included screenshots of these videos in support of his request to terminate the restraining order. These videos were viewed by millions of people, you guys. A true and correct screenshot of a small portion of these videos is included below. Look at Adam. Alexa Nicholas posted personal police documents. Alexa Nicholas is back and angry at me. Why am I... wouldn't you be upset though too? What a victim blamer. Okay. On September 13th, McIntyre made a live stream entitled Addressing Alexa Nikolas live stream. In the second McIntyre video, McIntyre repeats several of the defamatory posts made by Tenbarge on September 9th in an attempt to discredit and disparage. Can't even say that. Alexa. On September 13, 2024, and in response to the second McIntyre video, Alexa made a post on X that contained the link to the Bell police records on the city of Cleveland's website. In the post, Alexa explained, Kat lied to everyone and defamed me with malicious intent. These documents shared privately to her via a G drive when questioned by her were not sealed. I sent them to show her they were not sealed. They are public, redacted records. Gets me emotional. I'm like, on September 17, 2024, Alexa's prior counsel sent NBC's counsel another letter, the second letter to NBC. And it was attached, guys. If you want to read it, it's like 8 pages long. The second letter, and you're like, no, not after this. We've really read a lot here. The second legal letter to NBC identified Tenbarge's defamatory statements and explained how McIntyre and others repeated those statements. The second legal letter to NBC identified statements by Tenbarge that indicated NBC approved her defamatory statements. So we got to find that out. Did they? Kat, did they? Who? Who approved of your defamatory statements at MSNBC? Who? Unheard of what you did. I don't know any other journalist that has done this. Who approved of you doing this? You said everything. Everything you said. So we will find out that too. On September 24, 2024, McIntyre made a post on X that contained a picture. This is where it's like, so like after I've already, these are not public, these are not sealed documents. Like even my brain's getting, these are not sealed documents. McIntyre made a post on X that contained a picture of Tenbarge and McIntyre with the caption, Alexa Nikolas's nightmare. Imagine somebody doing that to Amber Heard, Kat, or Blake Lively, spreading a full-blown smear campaign against them and then posting that person's nightmare. What would your commentary be on that? For real. Like for real. What would that commentary be? I just want to know. That was so awful. Then you took pride and like you like celebrated spreading misinformation about a survivor. You celebrated it. Awful. Disturbing. Really. And guess who also celebrated and was emboldened and a bunch of other things by that post? This was an obvious attempt by McIntyre and Tenbarge to taunt and bully Alexa by claiming victory, that their false narrative successfully painted Alexa as a fraud and a hypocrite. On October 21st, 2024, NBC responded to Alexa's prior counsel. In the letter, NBC expressly disclaimed that the X defamatory statements and live chat defamatory statements were done within the scope of her employment. NBC further disclaimed any involvement or responsibility for Tenbarge's defamatory statements. A true and correct copy of NBC's October 21st, 2024 letter is attached here too as Exhibit M. On January 22, 2025, Tenbarge was terminated from NBC on information and belief. A contributing factor to Tenbarge's termination was so she was fired, or she was let go, right? A couple months after my almost 8-page legal letter was sent to NBC for everything I just said to you above. One, her irresponsible reliance on unreliable sources for the Tenbarge article, an unpublished article. And two, her defamatory statements towards Alexa. And then it goes into the cause of action. We finally reached the end of this. This is the defamation. This is it. And I do want to say something really quickly about Kat Tenbarge and Adam and how they treated me when I was speaking up for myself and trying to get my voice heard and going up against insane bullies like Adam McIntyre and Kat Tenbarge. That made me, at one point, he called me psycho. He called me psychotic. Even said my mental health wasn't necessarily so well, so he wants to like not make another video, and then did. I want to read Kat Tenbarge's own words to close this off until next time we go live. Because, Kat, I think you're right about this. What you said in these tweets of yours, I guess this was in 2023, hold true for me. What's unusual is the attitude that has emerged that people don't have a right to be upset or fight back, which is usually simply correcting the false narrative. Yes. Yes, I need to take a whole tea sip. Yes. Which antagonists frame as a bad look, then you and Adam are antagonists. When they're the problem in the first place. Correct. It's classic victim blaming. Lying about people online can impact their jobs, careers, reach their friends and family, and cause drama and harm to their reputation. Thank you for letting everyone know, including the court, that you agree with this. And above all, even if no one sees it, look what she says here, even if no one sees it, it has a massive impact on their mental health. I can't believe you said this and did this. Look at your fucking self in the mirror, dude. You too, Adam. Of course you're allowed to criticize. Of course you're allowed to react and discuss. The problem is when you do so in a way that perpetuates stigma, falsehoods, and bullying. You should assume the people you talk about online are seeing your comments and conduct yourself accordingly. These are Kat's own fucking, it's like a trip to read. Kat continues. Almost nothing shows the cognitive dissonance of the online isn't real life, comments can't hurt mentality more. Reading comments from strangers invalidating your traumatic experiences is literally re-traumatizing and leads to immense mental, plus therefore physical harm. Here we go. The mindset of the antagonizer usually starts from a place, this is the internet, I can say what I want without consequences. Sound familiar? Adam? Kat? Nila? Caeli? And honestly, any person who has hopped into my chat saying something along these lines. Right? I can say what I want without consequences. which is a mindset of lunacy, she says, in 2023. When the internet determines a significant chunk of real life success and reputation for many, if not most people. Thank you. It's very disturbing to find people talking about you online with a degree of certainty and judgment when their saying is not reflected in reality. It's only natural that people, upon seeing lies about themselves online, where anyone can read them, will get upset. I did get upset. And thank you for validating those feelings. Thank you. I really appreciate the validation, but what I don't appreciate is your hypocrisy and what you did. And I want accountability. I want justice. I want an apology. I want a setting of the record straight. I want, I guess, a couple of things, right? But at least I know that it's okay to be upset. Thanks, Kat. Those words were really comforting. And one other thing, where is it? Oh, yeah. One last thing. Here's Kat saying, we got to push back against the idea that reporting on public documents is wrong. This is anti-intellectualism combined with media illiteracy. Cool. Then thank you for also validating that it's okay for me to read those public documents and maybe even report on them. The hypocrisy is out of control. The harm was out of control. And what I went through for the last year at the hands of Kat Tenbarge and Adam McIntyre were just awful. Absolutely awful. And Kat Tenbarge, you're sued. See you in court. Jury demanded. And, you know, that's where I'm at. And then I guess I'm back. After all of that, I'm coming back. I want to talk about a few things. I want to go into the origins of you predators. I want to talk about Joe Dunn. I want to talk about Danny Elfman's case, Nomi Abadi. I want to go into an upcoming protest against Netflix when it comes to Dave Chappelle and Brandon Quinn. There's a lot of I also want to go into the Tyler Perry lawsuit as well that I haven't really been able to really dig into. And so slowly but surely, I'm making my way back. And for anybody who even listened to a portion of this and wanted to actually look at facts or wanted to hear the other side of whatever, the truthful side, again, I don't need you to believe me. I want you to look at the facts. I want you to do proper due diligence and look into the evidence of the matter. And I am not asking you to believe me, and I am not trying to play a victim, but I actually am a victim in this situation. I was mistreated and harmed by Kat Tenbarge and Adam McIntyre. And that, Dave Chappelle, oh my God, Dave Chappelle, don't watch it. It's really triggering. You don't want to. Oh my God, Melanie, no one should watch this right now. No, do not end the night like this. It's really bad. No, it's like really bad. Like when I'm telling you, we couldn't even, it took us 4 hours to watch 10 minutes. Do not watch it. Trigger warning to this. I will go into that whole thing. What day is it? So Tuesday I will be back live. And we'll begin again in a new way. And I appreciate anybody who's stayed along this journey of mine. And I'm just a human being. And I'm sorry if sometimes I don't live up to exactly what you want me to do or say. But I can always promise you that my intentions are good. And I'm trying the best here. Have a beautiful night. I can't believe I've been live this long. I thought it was going to be 2 hours, but it's just nice to see everybody. And then the comments are so sweet. And next time I'll be able to concentrate more on the comments because I'm so fixated on the complaint. But Adam McIntyre, you have a lot of explaining to do. And Kat Tenbarge, accountability is finally on the horizon. Do the right thing and apologize. Have a good night, everyone, and I will see you Tuesday.